Day of the Jackal, Episode 7, Peacock special.
Mm-hmm.
Start us off. Where are we at?
Where
do we begin?
Where do we begin? Well, Bianca
We did start with Bianca.
tries to find our Jackal and can't because he's not there because he's having intercourse with, is it Rasmus?
It is, I believe. Rasmus is the correct name. Our boy Rasmus, who I love.
I love Rasmus as well. More on him later. But yeah, the Jackal is hanging out with Rasmus and going to work with him, asking him if he can take his badge and go zip-zapping up to the top to try and find a little hideout.
Yep. He was like, hey, can I check out? I'd really like to see the architecture of your building. He once again does not have a very solid plan on how he's going to get a view of this place. He's just, I'll have this architecture out for this place, and he'll be like, ooh, I'll offer to show it to you.
Should we just get right into?
Yeah, we're gonna go right
Should
through.
we just get because he was up there already.
He was up there.
He was up. Remember when he fell down during the rave?
Yep.
And he had to climb.
It was
his
not
little booty
difficult. He just
up?
walked up there. He didn't have to sneak in there. Like, they didn't show that, but he got up from his seat and he just went over there.
Why didn't he find his little hidey hole then? If he's good at his job, why does he have to case this joint multiple times?
I don't know. He knew where he was going to shoot from, but I guess he didn't know where he was going to hide. Probably because he spent so much time dangling from the top of this arena. That was time he had set aside to go find his hidey hole. But then he accidentally fell and was dangling from the top. Of this.
I mean, there's still other stuff that he could potentially do. No one saw him. So let me first say that the ep was enjoyable. I enjoyed the ep.
It was a good ep. There was a lot of tension in this ep.
It was a fun ep to watch. But I think we saw last week that this is kind of an unserious show. I think as soon as we saw him get strung up in the barn, we knew this is an unserious show. And yes, it was an exciting ep. I enjoyed myself in the ep, but this was another unserious episode because skipping ahead a very long time, we're about to do the assassination attempt, and it is botched by some guy who just runs up.
To shoot him.
Just runs up on
who
stage.
also has a gun. How did he sneak the gun in? That bugs me so much. I think we're going to find out. We must find out about it in episode 8. He basically, if he was a better shot, would have pulled off the attempt on his own. Here's my thought. Here's my theory on this, that the billionaires paid somebody else. They had like a backup plan. But I don't even know if that's true because Charles Dance was very, what the fuck just happened? But let's get back to that because there are a couple more points before that really bugged me that were worse than that, is that he sneaks in there the day before a big concert. And
he finds his hidey hole first. He gives the card back. You're skipping ahead to the concert, the classical concert.
But before even the concert. Mm-hmm. My point is he said we've got this couple of days. And he says, our boy Rasmus says, this is the last chance I'll have to show you this because they're locking it down tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And for a big event, which to me, I was like, oh, tomorrow's the big day. But no, tomorrow is a classical pianist who is coming to play. And so that's what all the hubbub is about, not this other thing that's happening. But what kills me there is he goes in here, he finds his hidey hole. He's like, yep, this is where I'm going to hide. And this is how I'm going to do it. And then he uses the concert to sneak in to get to his hidey hole. And he buys his, water supplies and snacks, which we'll get to that too. But why? So he uses that concert to sneak the gun through. In theory, because he knows the security will be less that day than the following day.
Correct.
Instead of just sneaking the gun in the day before when he found his hidey hole? That's what killed me the most. He's already up there. He's been up there several times now. And he knows
to fake his foot injury.
Yeah, he snuck in and he knows this is where I'm going to shoot from. He had a whole satchel on, I want to say, in that episode and the guy was like, just go on up and run around up there. You don't have a badge, go ahead. We had sex, so go do your thing.
Stay out of trouble.
And that's when you hide the gun. You sneak it in then.
Maybe your snacks so you don't have to pay.
And then you go to the
prices.
Yeah, you don't have to pay those concert prices. And then you use the concert to get in. I'm fine with that idea. You don't have to spend 2 nights in your hidey hole. You spend one night. So you're like, yeah, the concert is the night I'll sneak in, but I'll already have everything there, so I don't have to worry about sneaking this gun through security. But no, he uses that opportunity to locate a place to hide, which again,
he should have found.
I don't even know if that scene was necessary at all. Anyways, the next day he has this concert that he goes to. He uses his boot to sneak in, which we find out would have been busted the following day because now they've got the backscat airplane scanners as security. It's not good
enough to find the random guy that we'll get to, but it is better.
But it is better security than the pianist concert.
So he's got to stay the night, and that's fine. That's cool. That's dope. No problem with that.
Like that part. I love that he peed in the bottle.
And then he had some wartime flashbacks.
Yes, I continue to hate that.
I'm not crazy about it, but
I don't. I don't see how it could possibly pay off. That's what bugs me about the war stuff. We got a lot of the war stuff, and we got a lot of how he found his wife stuff. And
right, yes, we did. We figured out she was a
waitress
waiter at a
restaurant in Spain.
Is it still waitress?
Yeah,
because you don't say stewardess.
No, you don't. But that's different. Because you don't say. I don't think you say airline steward either.
Well,
and that's not entirely true. The
person who brings you food, I think, is the preferred nomenclature.
The actor-actress thing has gone back and forth, and I think even in the Oscars, they still go actor-actress.
A lot of people have a problem with this.
I do, and I understand that.
A lot of people are taking themselves out of the running for these.
To me, whatever you align with that's up to you.
Yeah,
and I'm happy with that.
It's person who brings you food, and I hope that we can use that terminology going forward.
The food wench comes to sorry. I was just talking about medieval times with somebody the other day. Anyways, so he meets his future wife at a restaurant in Spain. They flirt a little bit. He asks her out, and she's like, "Yeah, that sounds great." Which, I didn't mind those flashbacks. In all honesty, I thought they actually had pretty good chemistry in those. Again, I just don't know what the payoff is there, and I don't know what the payoff is with his. They keep doing the war flashbacks, and the only thing I can think of is that that's used as like a. They're trying to trick us into thinking it's him, but it's also, I think, just going to be how we find out Charles Calthrop didn't actually die. Like that's, I think, all we're eventually, yeah. We're eventually gonna get that Dugan is not dead.
He's him. He is. Him.
Yeah, and he woke up and he started a new life, and I'm kind of okay with that, but I just don't care about it, and it doesn't have any impact. It doesn't bring any gravitas to this character. I don't have any sympathy for him just because he was a soldier. I have sympathy for and respect for soldiers in general, but I don't think it helps this character. I don't want to dig myself into. I've already gotten one half of the world upset me.
So you support the troops?
I do very strongly hashtag support the troops. I wish we gave them better medical care and they never had to think about anything in their lives after coming home. I don't have sympathy for this character because of that backstory. Well, I don't think it humanizes him anymore, and I don't care for the fact that they're humanizing him at all in this show.
I'm not sure entirely what's not working, because we've seen some other shows recently with flashbacks to when a romantic partnership started in Severance with Adam Scott and Gemma.
Yep.
That was very effective.
That was super effective.
In just the few minutes that they showed it. And we've seen some flashback episodes, even in the show we were just watching, Reacher, that are emotionally affecting. Eddie R., I believe, is a Academy statue holder. He's a good actor.
None of the acting is poor.
But it's just not coming together.
It just doesn't matter to the story. It has no impact, and I don't mean just the plot. Like, it just doesn't. It's not what makes this show good, and it's
right.
Especially if we want to talk about Severance, the whole Gemma line is so important because she's the whole reason that Mark S. isn't finishing his job, because there's this weird connection and he understands that, and so there's so much gravitas to that episode. Like, I could live in that episode of those two finding each other because he cares about her, and that's the only reason he's doing anything else. And it creates some tension with the fact that he also has an innie girlfriend.
Which comes back to the point I started with. This is an unserious show.
It is not a very serious show.
We did 4 or 5 eps of Jackal stuff, remake to the Jackal, updated for modern times. And now we are just spinning our wheels until we get to our end game. Episode 6 in the stupid barn. Episode 7 with the failed assassination attempt.
And the attempt was awesome. That part was actually I agree with you, and I kind of hate the way that he messed up.
It was exciting.
It was very thrilling. It was very exciting. I love that we had to rewind it for you to even see that he had also shot. That it was that close. I think all of that came together fine. That scene was great. I thought, as much as I hate the dude who plays Charles Rodin so far, that guy I don't like.
UDC.
I don't mean the actor. UDC. The UDC character just kind of is fake to me, and they haven't done a whole lot to him. And even, I mentioned this in the last episode, or at least I wrote it in my notes. Every time they go to his place in the Greek Isles or wherever he is,
Croatia, I believe,
that looks fake, and it feels fake. And it's the one time where I feel that. Like, the rest of the show, all the settings and scenery are so impactful and so big and such a piece of the television show. And for some reason, whenever they go to his, where he's always swimming next to a boat, and then he walks up to his nice veranda, I always just go this doesn't feel. It even feels too bright. Like, the lights are on too much. And his hair and his makeup make him go even a little bit too far fake than just a billionaire who cares about the way he looks. But I thought his speech was tremendous. And his acting during that whole period I thought was great. And I thought it brought a whole bunch of attention, and I thought it was very cool. It made me continue to hate billionaires who always think they're just shaking up the industry in that way. But I was like, they're good shots.
What about billionaires who have served?
Oh, boy. Are there any billionaires who have served? I'd name one billionaire who served in the United States.
Jimmy Carter.
Not a billionaire.
I love our good people in Croatia. I don't know. I love Croatia as a country. I love the people of Croatia.
You just keep trying to line me up for saying I don't like things.
The assassination attempt, the actual episode was fun. It was fun to watch. It was exciting. If you take a step back, if you look at it from a storyboard perspective, or you go to sleep that night thinking about the ep, the whole thing falls apart into just, what are we doing on this back half?
Yeah, and he also... Yeah, so he makes this shot that misses. I thought that was good. For a second, I thought maybe they would change it, and maybe he does make the shot, which I think would actually might make the television show more interesting.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're going to do another season.
Now we're just doing another assassination attempt.
Yeah, I think
we're just going back to the place that we started from.
Which is interesting, because I think what they did with what they changed from the book was that initial assassination attempt felt a lot like the actual attempt in the book. Like, they took the the hidden gun, and he's shooting from this place while this guy is making this speech-ish. He was going to a hospital, but it became, it took over for the Africa assassination. Mm-hmm. But that one felt, it felt much more like what the end of the book was would have been if he had made the shot. And so it would have been it just felt like it would have been more interesting to me if he just made the shot. Or maybe he doesn't kill the guy, or like a bunch of different things.
Because we would have done something different other than he just goes back to the drawing board. He's like, okay, where's UDC going to be next? How am I going to shoot him there? Can I put now
I have to escape from these billionaires.
Gun in this Snickers bar or whatever he's going to. Even the escaping from the billionaires would be more interesting.
I think that's where it's going to have to go. I don't think this season we're going to see him trying to make another attempt at UDC. But we have a lot more episodes. We have 3 more episodes.
Attempt in episode 10. I'm doubling down on that.
That's all right. I like that. Oh yeah, I wrote it here. I feel like Rodon's place seems to be Rodon's place seems to be the most fake. I did say flashbacks to the wife are not interesting because they just really weren't. But I thought they were done well. Like, that's such a weird cognitive dissonance in my head.
I don't care about the relationship.
Yeah,
anymore.
I think
to me, that's the definition of well done. I mean, what is well done? They remembered their lines.
It acted well. I felt like like I said, I felt like they had chemistry. I felt like the shots were really good. I do feel like it would be an interesting story if it mattered to anything else at all. And the further we got towards the assassination, the less important all of that meant. All we got out of that was
the story
her brother stealing money to start his bar.
And I want to go to his bar, and I want the bar to be built.
But like I just now remembered that was part of the story. It's just because it literally doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter to any of it.
He snuck a gun when he was there.
Oh, that's true.
So he now has a gun, and that will come back because it has to. Because one day, one guy wrote one play.
And forever, if you see a gun in Act 1.
I don't understand. So the assassination attempt... The Jackal is trying to shoot from above over the little glass wall that they've erected.
He's waiting for the perfect, because Rodon is doing his job and he's staying close to the glass like he's supposed to, and so the Jackal doesn't have a shot.
He's a little bit of a wanderer.
Yep.
So he's just waiting for him to mess up, and all of a sudden, out from the sidelines.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that now.
Here comes this guy with a pistol?
Could we call him a third gunman? Is that what they call him? The grassy knoll.
I want to know, how did he get his gun inside?
We're gonna rewatch that part after this podcast, because I think he just literally goes up the steps from the side. How did he get
so close?
Yep, he just walks up the side. We just watched 15 minutes of security porn of them checking the aisles 17 times. Which you could check off after 2 times, but no, we're going to go back through that aisle again.
Put a wall up. What if I go around the wall?
We put up this wall.
I didn't think of that.
And there are 2 sets of stairs, as there are on most stages, and we didn't think, we'll put a security guard here and no one can come up these steps, and we'll put a security guard over here and no one can come up these steps.
It didn't. Easy explanation would be it was a security guard. Did it look security guard?
He didn't.
He didn't to me.
It didn't. And I looked for that the second time we played it through because I wanted you to see the shot, and it just didn't seem like that. Now we're about to watch episode 8. Maybe episode 8 will be like, how'd this guy get in? He's got a different 3D printed gun, and
he's under the little hatch right next to him, and they didn't even know.
Yeah, or just the 2 of them are on separate hatches.
They were being so quiet that they didn't even know about each other. Wouldn't that be fun?
But this guy is ecologically
I'll field my own question. Would be fun.
It would be fun. And, it'll be a better version of them sitting in the seat in front of each other on the airplane.
Who do you think it was? I'm right now with what
did
the
he get shot
that we have
and killed?
I think so. I think he's dead. With the information that we have, I'm going with just sort of rogue, crazy guy, random crazy guy. I don't think it came from Chucky dances. I don't think it was part of the
I like that answer. I'm just trying to think of an alternative answer to that. I don't think it was Chuck Dance. I think you're right. I think it's possible it's one of Chuck Dance's other friends in their rich person group who took matters into their own hand and went rogue
against Chucky.
Yep. But I hope episode 8 takes at least 5 minutes to explain it to us.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of holes in that, and it really bugs me.
If it's a professional killer, they're gonna probably do something different than
march
bomb
up
rush
and shoot
the
him.
stage, and it is a plot hole that he was almost as successful as
he
was.
If he was a better shot, if that had been the Jackal's plan, he probably would have gotten away with it. But I think you're right in the sense that it's probably it's someone with a political motivation because he
had no escape plan.
He had no escape plan. He definitely thought I'm going to make
shot.
Yeah.
He's
It cheapens all of the efforts that the Jackal made to do every piece of his plan is cheapened by the fact that this guy did that shot. And
the last 4 episodes are cheapened from us watching.
We watched all of this for him to figure out
his melons and shooting them and finding his this and finding his that, and it is just one guy who's bomb rushing. So at the end, he does get one shot off. Bianca realizes it. Everybody's leaving real quick. Jackal does get out almost undetected, but there's poor sweet prince.
Before that, let's talk about something else that got dropped. They made a big point to talk about how many times he can shoot this gun.
Well, I want to get to that.
You think we're coming back to that? Okay,
I'm coming back to that. Our sweet Prince Rasmus sees him. He says, "Boy, I didn't think you were going to be here. What's going on?" And chases after him. And then the Jackal kills him like an absolute
asshole.
Unsentimental, unfeeling.
That narrative follows the book, but not in the same way.
Sure, but it was still sad because I was emotionally
It was super sad.
Rasmus. I liked Rasmus.
It was super sad. I knew it was going to happen. I was sad that it was about to happen. What bugs me about that, in most cases when the Jackal decides to kill, is it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
This one, he probably, from the Jackal's POV, he needed to go.
He needed to go because the guy saw him.
Yeah.
And it was okay that he knew what the Jackal looked like, but it was not okay that he saw him at this when this thing happened.
And he can help him draw a
I
better
feel like I
picture
would have just kept going, though. He had like a 200-yard head start on him. Or, even better, you let him take you home and then you kill him. I think it was pretty weird for him to just murder him on the way out because it leaves a huge trail that's too quickly found. Because now they're going to go search his place. They could make some other links. Someone could be like, "Oh yeah, he brought a guy in the other day."
And as soon as that DNA team is done with the building, which seems like a year ago, they can get into Rasmus's apartment and look for the various
I think
puddles or toothbrushes or whatever.
Okay, last theory before we close this out and watch episode 8. Is it possible that our inside British agent, or at least the guy we think is the bad guy, Bianca's manager, somehow helped sneak this guy and his gun in?
Yeah, possibly. I'm still going with the rogue.
Yeah, I just don't.
Because of the escape plan and the poorly performed
that makes
shot.
It worse.
Yeah,
it's already worse that this was there has to be a better narrative way for him to have missed this shot. That just felt bad and like last minute. It felt like they were shooting this season on the fly and they were like, well, we got to come up with a good reason he missed, because a kiss on the cheek, which was narratively kind of awesome in the book. Because I could see, especially in the 70s, that somebody wouldn't understand that cultural relevance. Now I think anybody knows that like that's how a good chunk of Europeans say hello. But you can't do that in the show, I don't think, and it be the same kind of a thing. But there were you get a room full of writers. You obviously have writers on the show, I hope. You hope.
We don't usually watch the credits. We should actually look
we
for
should
that.
check. Are there writers listed?
We should look for that.
And you rifled off some ideas, and that's the one you went with. You're like, what if there's another gunman? Which another gunman is interesting, but not another gunman who just like runs
not
around.
Interesting yet. It could be interesting. It's not interesting yet.
What if he's the inside man?
Sorry,
I don't know why, but like what? Like maybe our boy Rodon hired someone to fake kill him,
like Trump did.
and that's the end.